After discovering Alex's affair, we finalized the divorce in just half a day. He wanted nothing, except for that villa in Los Angeles. With all the properties we own, why single out that one? Because. Alex's face lit up with an innocent smile. That's where Mia and I first did it. Of course we have to preserve such beautiful memories. A doting smile touched his lips as he recalled something. Honestly, I just can't help her. I watched the look of relief wash over his face at the prospect of divorcing me. I couldn't hold back. One punch smashed into his nose, breaking his nasal bone. Blood stained his white shirt crimson. Warm blood splattered onto the back of my hand. Alex clutched his nose, letting out a pained groan. The look in his eyes shifted from shock to utter disbelief. He clearly hadn't anticipated that the pushover he'd always taken for granted would ever strike him back, and with such force. "Lily, are you out of your mind?" I pulled out a tissue and methodically wiped the blood from my hands. "Not crazy. Just helping you sober up. We're divorced. Don't parade your sickening love in front of me." His phone buzzed, the screen flashing Mia. Alex's expression shifted instantly. His voice when he answered the call was so full of hurt you could practically squeeze water out of it. "Mia, I'm fine. Yeah, it's done." She signed. "Just a little hiccup." He glanced at me and lowered his voice. "She hit me. Yeah, my nose. Bleeding like crazy. Don't come over. I'm afraid she'll lose it again and hurt you." After hanging up, the look of love-induced self-sacrifice on his face nearly made me throw up last night's dinner. "Lily, you're something else. Mia's so kind, she was worried you'd be upset about the divorce and asked me to comfort you." "And you? Is this how you treat me?" I slid the signed final page of the document across the table toward him. "The villa is yours. Everything else, cars, savings, shares, is mine. You won't get a single penny. Take your fond memories and get out." Alex's lawyer's expression shifted, and he leaned close to whisper in Alex's ear. "Alex, the clause about the villa in the agreement only specifies usage rights. The description of property ownership is vague. This could be a trap." Alex impatiently cut him off. "What trap? Is she going to eat the house?" "She's just throwing a tantrum, she wouldn't do anything drastic." "Sign it quickly. Mia's waiting for me." He was now so blinded by this so-called love that he was hopelessly foolish. My legal team had already drafted the asset division agreement with meticulous precision. He walked away with nothing, yet still had to shoulder the hefty property fees and maintenance costs for that villa. What a naive fool. Stepping out of the Civil Affairs Bureau, my lawyer couldn't help but remind me. "Lily, about that villa. Are you really sure you want to just hand it over to him?" "I'm sure." I slipped on my sunglasses, hiding the coldness in my eyes. Seeing my resolve, my lawyer Mike said no more, only adding in a low voice, "Don't worry, Lily. This is foolproof." The Gu family used underhanded tactics to bring down the Cheens back then. Now it's their turn to taste the bitter fruit of their own schemes. That was meant for scum like him. A piece of trash, he belongs where trash belongs. Within 3 days, Alex and Mia made a grand entrance into the villa. Mia posted 18 photos in a row. One showed her wearing Alex's white shirt, barefoot and sipping coffee by the floor-to-ceiling windows. Another captured them embracing in the garden, beaming with sweet, radiant smiles. Each photo was deliberately tagged with the villa's location. She also posted a message with the caption, "A new beginning, wherever you are is home." Below, Alex was the first to reply, "My darling, you've worked so hard." Their mutual friend instantly turned into a sycophant. "Wow, is this what they call a fairy tale romance? Alex and Mia are so perfect together." And this villa is absolutely gorgeous. Mia is so lucky, unlike some people who hog the toilet without using it, only to end up with nothing in the end. That last line was clearly aimed at me. Alex even gave it a like. I swiped through my phone screen expressionlessly. The next day, a package arrived. Opening it, I found a rare book I'd left behind at the villa, torn to shreds. It was a unique copy I'd scoured half of Europe to track down. On the book's flyleaf, Alex's clumsy inscription from back then still lingered. To the love of my life, Lily. The love of his life? Clutching the card that read, "I'll help you clean up the trash," my nails dug into my palm. A sharp pang shot through my heart, only to be drowned by a more violent surge of hatred. I dumped the shredded paper into the trash can, snapped a photo, and posted it online. Cleaning up trash is everyone's responsibility. Within minutes, Alex's call came through. "Lily, what do you mean? Who are you calling trash?" "Whoever takes it personally is the one I'm calling trash." "You." He snapped, furious. "Mia was just trying to help you pack. How could you say that about her? She's so pure and kind, she almost cried when she saw what you posted on your social media." I heard Mia's faint sobs coming through the phone and smiled. "Is that so? Then tell her to stop crying. After all, there will be times when she cries." They kept quiet for a few days. I thought they'd finally realized how pointless it was to provoke me. Little did I know they were just biding their time. A week later, Mia texted me, "Lily, Alex and I are throwing a housewarming party this Saturday. We're inviting all our friends to celebrate. You should come along too, after all, you lived here for so long. While you're at it, take the rest of your stuff with you. It's just sitting here, and it's an eyesore." Every word dripped with her trademark green tea attitude. I could almost picture her typing while snuggling up to Alex, a satisfied smile on her face. I replied with a simple okay. She seemed to freeze for a moment, taking a long while to respond. "Sis Lily, you're really coming? That's great. We'll be waiting for you." That excited tone practically screamed it was a trap. When my best friend Zoe found out, she nearly blew up my phone. "Lily, have you lost your mind? They're clearly trying to humiliate you in public, and you're still going? Go ahead, why not?" I said to my reflection while testing a newly bought lipstick. "There's a show to watch, how could I miss it?" "You." Zoe sighed in exasperation. "What exactly are you trying to do?" "You'll see when you get there." I hung up and dialed another number. "Hello, Sam? It's me, Lily. Right, about that plot east of town. So, is the date set?" "Okay, got it. Saturday, right? What a perfect day." On Saturday, I drove to that familiar villa. Once, I thought this would be Alex and my home for life. I designed every corner myself and selected each piece of furniture. Now, it has become his love nest with another woman. The driveway was packed with luxury cars, they must have invited quite a few people. As soon as I got out of the car, I spotted Alex and Mia. They stood at the entrance greeting guests, looking like a loving couple. Mia wore a white dress with her long hair cascading over her shoulders, appearing pure and innocent. The moment she saw me, she immediately hooked her arm through Alex's, her face breaking into a sweet smile. "Lily, you're here." Alex's expression seemed slightly awkward, but he still managed a forced smile. "Come on in, then." His tone carried a hint of condescension. I walked into the living room, which was already packed with people. Most were mutual friends from our past. When they saw me, their expressions varied, some looked gleeful, but most were simply awkward. A woman who used to be on good terms with me approached and whispered, "Lily, what are you doing here? don't stoop to their level. I smiled. I'm here to pick something up. Mia walked over then, her voice loud enough for everyone nearby to hear. Lily, I've packed up all your things. They're in the storage room. She pointed to a black trash bag in the corner. Just some old clothes and stuff. I figured you probably don't need them anymore. But Alex said it's better if you handle it yourself, so we don't get accused of messing with your things. As soon as she finished speaking, a stifled chuckle rippled through the crowd. This is murdering my soul. Defining every memory I left behind as trash. Alex stood by, his gaze toward Mia brimming with adoration. As if she'd accomplished some monumental feat, I didn't look at that trash bag. I picked up a glass of champagne and walked to the floor-to-ceiling window, gazing out at the garden. The view here is still just as beautiful. Alex approached and stood beside me. Yes, Mia and I both loved it. We planned to redesign the garden, filling it with the white roses she adored. I nodded. It's fine. He seemed taken aback by my calm response. Lily, I didn't expect you to actually come. I thought you were still mad at us. Mad? I shook my head. Not really. Just felt like your taste was a bit off. His expression darkened. What do you mean? Nothing. I turned to look at Mia, standing not far behind him. She was surrounded by a crowd, like a proud princess. By the way, did you get the property deed for that villa sorted out? Alex froze. What property deed? Didn't we sign a divorce agreement? The divorce agreement only stipulated that you would retain usage rights to the house, I said matter-of-factly. But that house, along with the land it sits on, has always been registered under my company's name. If you're planning to transfer the property, it might be a bit of a hassle. Alex's expression darkened completely. Lily. You set me up. His voice shot up sharply, drawing everyone's attention. Mia immediately rushed over, gripping his arm anxiously. Alex, what's wrong? Alex pointed at me, his hand trembling with rage. That poisonous woman. She didn't transfer the villa's ownership to me. The living room fell silent instantly. All eyes were fixed on me. Mia's face turned pale as she stared at Alex in disbelief. Alex, is this true? We don't own the house? Alex gritted his teeth and glared at me. Lily, what exactly are you after? I swirled the champagne in my glass, the smile on my lips deepening. Nothing. Just a friendly reminder, when you're staying in someone else's house, it's best to keep a low profile. After all, I can take the house back anytime. The words exploded like a bomb among the crowd. Good heavens, so all this time the house wasn't even his? Then this housewarming party, wasn't it just a joke? I knew Lily wouldn't be that generous, giving away such a beautiful villa for nothing. Tears instantly welled up in Mia's eyes. She wept bitterly, clutching Alex's clothes. Alex, I don't care. I love it here. You promised me this would be our home someday. Alex was driven to distraction by her crying and utterly humiliated by the surrounding murmurs. He shoved Mia aside and stormed up to me. You must transfer the house to me. The agreement states the villa belongs to me. The agreement states that the villa at XX Road, Los Angeles belongs to you, but it doesn't say the land belongs to you too. My lawyer had already set up that wording trap. The house is mine, the land is mine. Letting you live here is a favor, not letting you live here is my right. Alex's face turned as dark as liver from anger. He raised his hand as if to strike me. I didn't flinch, just stared at him coldly. Try to touch me if you dare. Tomorrow, I'll have you all kicked out of here. His hand froze mid-air, ultimately too afraid to come down. Seeing this, Mia suddenly channeled her inner drama queen, clutching her stomach as she collapsed to the ground. "Ouch, my stomach, it hurts so much," she cried out, stealing glances at me as she spoke. Alex immediately panicked and rushed to support her. "Mia, what's wrong? Did you have a miscarriage?" "Baby, our baby." He held Mia tightly and turned to yell at me. "Lily, Mia's pregnant. If you dare kick us out and something happens to my baby, I'll never let you off the hook." The surrounding guests erupted in an instant. "Pregnant? Is that for real? Wow, this is gonna be a show. Ex-wife forces pregnant mistress into homelessness, what a sensational headline." I watched their amateurish performance and found it utterly laughable. Just then, a low rumble echoed from outside the villa. The sound grew louder, and the ground began to tremble slightly. A faint, strange odor drifted in on the wind. Alex and Mia's faces turned ashen, as if they'd seen a ghost. My gaze swept past them, fixed on the direction of the villa's backyard. That strange rumbling sound and foul stench were coming from there. The party guests also sensed something was off. "What's that noise? It's so loud. And this smell, it's disgusting. Like burning plastic." Someone covered his nose and walked to the floor-to-ceiling windows at the back of the house. "Holy shit," he exclaimed. Everyone was drawn over. I slowly made my way over too. What I saw was the once lush hillside behind the villa now completely leveled. Several massive bulldozers and excavators were hard at work. Behind the hillside, a huge building foundation had already taken shape. A large red banner hung on the construction site fence, fluttering in the wind, its characters clearly visible. "Warm congratulations on the successful groundbreaking ceremony for the Qingdong Waste-to-Energy Power Plant project." The living room fell deathly silent. Everyone stared dumbfounded at the banner. Waste-to-Energy Power Plant. Those 6 words felt like 6 resounding slaps, landing hard across Alex and Mia's faces. Their expressions shifted from smug satisfaction to shock, then bewilderment, finally settling into utter terror. Mia's lips trembled, unable to form a single word. Alex whipped his head around, eyes red as if they might bleed. "It was you. You did this. You knew all along." I finally let out a laugh. I walked up to him, my voice so soft only the two of us could hear. "Yeah, I knew all along. Alex, welcome to the dump." The party instantly descended into chaos. Guests abandoned their gawking, clutching their noses as they fled in panic. Good heavens, they're building a waste incinerator here? Can anyone still live in this place? No wonder Lily gave him the house, she was waiting right here. That's brutal, absolutely brutal. Let's get out of here fast. Does breathing this stuff too much cause cancer? In the blink of an eye, the once bustling living room emptied out by more than half. Only Alex, Mia, and their core group of lackeys remained. Mia slumped to the ground, her face as pale as paper. "No, it can't be. This is an upscale villa district. How could they build a landfill here?" Alex rushed over and grabbed me by the collar. "Lily! You poisonous bitch! Why didn't you tell me sooner?" "A poisonous woman?" I laughed. "At least I'm better than you, you pig-greased fool. Living in a dump for a wedding home, may you live happily ever after and be blessed with precious maggots soon." I pried his hands apart and brushed off my clothes. "I told you. I'm asking you, with all the properties we own, why did you single out this one? I gave you a choice. You were the one who insisted on jumping into this garbage pit. For your so-called beautiful memories." I looked at him, speaking slowly and deliberately. "Now, your fond memories will be accompanied by the sweet fragrance of garbage every single day. Isn't that romantic?" Alex staggered back 2 steps as if all his strength had been drained. A friend behind him protested indignantly. "This isn't fair. You're committing commercial fraud. We're going to sue you." My lawyer, Mike, had appeared behind me at some point. He pushed up his gold-rimmed glasses and handed me a document. "Sir, before you filed a complaint, you should review this document first. This is the planning notice issued by the municipal government 3 years ago regarding the East City Waste-to-Energy Power Plant project. The project site is this hillside behind the villa. This information was posted on the city government's official website for a full 3 months. Anyone who did even a little digging could have found it." Mike looked at Alex, a mocking smile curling his lips. "Alex, you're the one who let love cloud your judgment and gave up your right to due diligence. That's not our fault, Lily." Alex's face was more colorful than a dye vat. Mia suddenly screamed. "The house? What about our house? They're building a landfill here, and our house will be worthless." She jumped up, rushed to Alex, and started hitting and punching him. "It's all your fault. It's all your fault for insisting on this damn house. I told you so, that spacious apartment downtown was perfect. You wouldn't listen. Now look at us, we've got nothing left." Alex, pushed back by her relentless attacks, finally erupted in fury. He shoved Mia away. "It's all your fault. If you hadn't been nagging me every day about how this was our special place, I never would have done something this stupid. You're such a jinx." 2 people, right there in the empty living room, started tearing into each other like dogs fighting in front of the remaining few. The vows they once swore to each other had now turned into the most vicious curses. I watched with great interest. This scene was more thrilling than any movie. The farce went on for over 10 minutes until both of them were completely exhausted. Alex plopped down on the ground, gasping for breath. Mia covered her face and sobbed quietly. Suddenly, he lifted his head and stared at me with an eerie look in his eyes. "Lily, you think this is over? Don't forget, Mia's carrying my child. You've pushed us to this point, I won't let you off easy." He pulled out his phone, as if to make a call. "I'll call the press right now. I'll make sure everyone sees how you heartless woman, treat me. I'll ruin your reputation." I watched his final struggle and shook my head. "Alex, have you forgotten that you're not even worthy of tying my shoes?" I snapped my fingers. The living room door swung open, and 2 bodyguards in black suits entered. "Escort them out. My house is filthy." Bodyguards flanked Alex on either side, propping him up. Alex was still struggling wildly. "Lily, let me go. This is my house." "Your house?" I laughed. "The deed is in my name. Here, I call the shots." Seeing this, Mia scrambled to her feet, trying to run. Another bodyguard blocked her path. She suddenly clutched her stomach and started acting again. "My stomach, my baby." I walked up to her, crouched down, and looked into her eyes. "Mia, stop acting." I pulled a medical report from my bag and slammed it onto her face. "Last Wednesday, you had a gynecological exam at Renai Hospital. The report clearly states stage 3 endometriosis with chocolate cysts. Forget about pregnancy, it's questionable whether you'll ever be able to have children. If you keep trying to scam me with this non-existent child, I won't hesitate to sue you for extortion." The color drained instantly from Mia's face. She stared at the report in her hands as if it were a hot potato. Alex saw it too. He froze, turning to stare at Mia with eyes brimming with suspicion and fury. You lied to me?" Mia completely broke down. She stammered incoherently. No, Alex, listen to me. I just wanted to keep you here so badly. Alex seemed not to hear her. He just stared fixedly at Mia's belly, the light in his eyes slowly fading until it turned into utter disgust and coldness. "Get out." He uttered only one word. The bodyguards escorted both of them, along with the remaining guests, out of the villa. The world finally fell silent. Mike directed the cleaning crew as they began disinfecting and sanitizing the entire villa. Everything Alex and Mia had used was bagged and thrown out. Zoe arrived late, staring wide-eyed at the scene before her. "Holy crap, Lily, what did I miss?" I gave her a quick rundown. After hearing it, she jumped up. "Way to go. A garbage incinerator. Ha 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 ha, you've got some nerve. Make them guard trash for the rest of their lives. And that fake pregnancy. It's absolutely satisfying." Zoe hugged me, laughing and shouting, while I just leaned against her shoulder, letting that all-consuming wave of exhaustion wash over me. After the tide of resentment receded, what remained was not satisfaction, but boundless desolation. For these two scumbags, I'd wasted so many years. I'd endured far too long. From the moment I discovered Alex's infidelity, I'd been planning this. I knew his greed, his vanity, his self-importance. I knew Mia's hypocrisy, her affectation, her love of putting on a show. So I turned their own scheme against them, transforming what they desired most into the deadliest poison. They thought they'd gained the world, but in truth, they'd willingly leaped into the grave I'd dug for them. The aftermath turned out even more dramatic than I could have imagined. After Alex and Mia were kicked out of the villa, they completely fell out. Discovering he'd not only gained nothing but become the laughingstock of the entire town, Alex was consumed by rage and blamed Mia for everything. Mia wasn't one to be pushed around either. She spilled all the details of Alex's affair online, including how the two of them had schemed against me. Her little essay was written with heartfelt emotion, painting herself as a pitiful victim blinded by love and Alex as a scumbag who used her and then discarded her. The two became complete internet clowns, staging new drama every single day. Alex lost his job, went broke, and had to slink back to his hometown. Word is that when his parents learned the whole story, they nearly had a stroke from anger. They locked him up at home and wouldn't let him go out in public. Mia's life wasn't easy either. Her reputation was completely ruined, and the friends who used to fawn over her now avoided her like the plague. She tried to return to her old ways by becoming a minor internet celebrity, only to get bombarded with abuse the moment she went live. Her live streams got shut down multiple times. She was desperate and actually came looking for me. That day, she dressed herself up to look pitiful and waited downstairs at my company. The moment she saw me, she knelt down. "Lily, I was wrong, I was truly wrong. I'm not human. Please, give me a way to live." I looked at her, feeling nothing but irony. "Didn't you seal your own fate long ago?" I walked past her and straight into the company entrance. Behind me, her wails pierced the air. I didn't look back. Some people simply aren't worth pitying. After completely resolving matters with Alex and Mia, my life returned to normal. I never went back to that villa. Mike handled all the follow-up for me. Since the waste incineration plant project was a municipal initiative, the land was quickly acquired by the government, and I received a substantial compensation payment. Not a penny more or less, just enough to buy a penthouse downtown. Zoe quipped. "You got lucky, trading a dump for a riverside flat." I chuckled. Maybe so. I moved into my new home and began focusing more energy on my career. The company's business was booming. I didn't need a man, my career was my most reliable partner. I worked out, traveled, took flower arranging classes, learned wine tasting, and filled my life to the brim. I've discovered that life alone is far more free and joyful than life with someone else. I'm Lily, and I live only for myself. Alex's parents sought me out once more later. They were two elderly people who looked very simple and unassuming. They waited for me for a long time downstairs at my company. When they saw me, their eyes were filled with guilt and pleading. Alex's mother immediately tried to kneel before me. I quickly helped her up. "Auntie, let's talk this out calmly," she cried. "Lily, we're the ones who've wronged you. We failed to raise Alex properly, that beast. Please, I beg you, show mercy and let him off. He's back in our hometown now, locked himself in his room day after day, refusing to eat or drink. He's become a wreck. We're so afraid he might do something rash." Alex's father sighed beside him. "We know he's made many mistakes and hurt you. But for the sake of us two old folks, could you give him one more chance?" They thought Alex's downfall was because I had pulled strings behind the scenes. In truth, I did nothing. I merely reclaimed what was rightfully mine all along. It was his own ambition that reached for the stars, while his fate was as fragile as paper that led him to this sorry state. I looked at the two gray-haired elders before me, my heart filled with mixed emotions. They were innocent. But their son, he deserved his fate. Calmly, I gazed at them. Uncle and Auntie, Alex becoming what he is today, it wasn't my doing. It was his own choice. I've had nothing to do with him for ages. His life or death is none of my concern. Instead of coming to beg me, you'd be better off going back and talking some sense into him, telling him to get his act together and start over. With that, I turned and walked away. That was all I could do. I'm no saint, I can't return evil with kindness. That failed marriage drained every ounce of my kindness and tolerance. A year later, at a business bidding event, I encountered an unexpected rival. Gray. He was no longer the gentle figure from my memories, his entire aura had grown sharp and intense. He was the dark horse of this bidding war, and my most formidable opponent. When he saw me, he merely gave a slight nod, his eyes devoid of any trace of old affection, filled only with a businessman's scrutiny and calculation. "Lily, it's a pleasure to finally meet you." I was a bit taken aback, but quickly composed myself. "Gray, the feeling's mutual. That bidding war, we fought tooth and nail, neither giving an inch. In the end, we both secured the project." At the celebratory banquet, he approached with a glass of wine in hand. "Lily's tactics truly live up to her reputation," I remarked with a smile. "Gray, you flatter me. We're both just pursuing our interests." We discussed everything from industry prospects to capital operations, exchanging sharp, pointed views, yet beneath it all lay a subtle mutual admiration for meeting a worthy opponent. Zoe nearly jumped out of her skin when she heard the news. "Oh my God, it's Gray. His family was bankrupted by Alex's dad back then. This time he's back in the country, clearly here for revenge. Stay away from him, that kind of man is too dangerous." I held my wine glass, gazed at the night view outside the window, and smiled. Danger? That's the last thing I fear. My partnership with Gray unfolded amid a delicate standoff and mutual probing. He never asked about my past, nor did he ever mention Alex's name. Yet he seemed to know everything. Once, when a project hit a snag, it was Alex's family pulling strings behind the scenes. Before I could even react, Gray had already struck back with even harsher tactics, swift, precise, and ruthless, leaving no room for mercy. Afterward, he sent me a text with casual indifference. "Trash. Should have been cleaned out in one go." That night, we met at the rooftop bar of the club. He swirled the whiskey in his glass, the ice clinking sharply. "I've taken care of that little maneuver from the Goo family." I raised my glass and clinked it lightly against his. "I know. Cutting off their two most crucial cash flows and anonymously reporting evidence of their tax evasion. It was even more ruthless than I'd anticipated. He chuckled softly, his deep gaze fixed on my face. With people like that, you strike to kill. I'm just curious, Lily always seems to anticipate their moves, setting traps in advance just for them to walk right into. Same here, I retorted. Isn't Gray the same? You seem quite interested in my personal affairs. His voice was low, tinged with a hint of amusement. I'm more interested in Lily the person. We're kindred spirits, Lily. We show no mercy to our enemies, and we're equally ruthless to ourselves. His words, like a key, unlocked the deepest lock in my heart. Our relationship was less a romance and more a tacit alliance. Until one day, the Gu family's company collapsed completely. Gray and I stood before the floor-to-ceiling windows in my office, watching the news footage of Alex's father being taken away for questioning. That public notice for the incinerator project, you sent it to my lawyer, didn't you? I suddenly asked. Gray didn't deny it. He gently wrapped his arms around me from behind, resting his chin on the top of my head. I admit, I approached you initially because of the Gu family. They were enemies I had to take down, and you were the best way in. My body stiffened for a moment. He held her tighter. But I never anticipated the pieces would become my Achilles heel. I've researched every detail of your life. I applauded every trap you set, and my heart ached for every injustice you endured. I watched you step by step drag them into hell, only to realize I'd long been trapped within it myself. Lily, I'm no saint. My world is just like yours, filled with scheming and games. Do you dare to bet your second half of life on me? My tears finally fell uncontrollably. Not because I was moved, but because I'd finally found my kind. I turned, rose onto my tiptoes, and pressed my lips to his. Fine, I'll take that bet. My past was finally drawn to a satisfying close. As for Alex and Mia, those two I'd tossed into the trash heap, their fates no longer concerned me in the slightest. My life is no longer just sunshine and smooth sailing, it's filled with strategic battles and relentless challenges. But this time, I have an ally by my side, someone who fights alongside me, not a useless burden I must shield single-handedly. This is the future I've always wanted,